So after waiting a week for this week's episode of My Hero Academia, the Olympics pushing anime around, I was curious what was going to happen because based on what I was hearing, My Villain Academia would start in episode 20 and would last 6 episodes at the bare minimum unless they carry it over until the next season a bit more. So what would this episode do after seemingly ending the Endeavor training arc, the agency arc, where would we go? And they hit me with this emotional Racerhead backstory, adding in DJ to the mix as someone who was thought to be dead apparently, Obro, who was, I guess, one of their friends. It was this trio, and they were goofballs in school. They had these wild dreams, and it turns out that his remains, after being killed during one of their missions, turned into a Nomu, and has been this character we've seen for so long. And honestly, I didn't think we were going to get something this powerful. I mean, the first 6 to 7 minutes of this episode are the typical My Hero Academia, people goofing off, oh, look at who likes Deku, look at the romantic tension, just simple My Hero Academia. I thought it was just gonna be an episode like that. So this stuff blindsided me, I have to say, and I'm surprised, like, I mean, I don't get spoiled typically on My Hero Academia, but I know of certain elements, like, as an example, at the end of the episode, that weird doctor who looks like, honestly, Dr. Eggman from Sonic, I knew, like, I'm pretty sure if I'm remembering correctly, there was some controversy with a character name. I think it's either his name or maybe the design or something that the mangaka referenced. I guess it ties to something with real world or something. I don't know. There's always a controversy with this series, whether it's the anime or the manga, so I don't pay too much mind. But, like, that's the type of stuff I know about. I know of names like My Villain Academia. I know of certain characters causing a ruckus. But I don't know of, like, specifics. I've been pretty good with that so far. So this is one of those things that really blindsides me in, like, the best possible way, because Eraser has been, I think, one of the more cold and calculated characters, but seemingly cares about the students. But I mean, just look at his teaching. Like, I mean, he apparently expels people. He does some pretty, I think, unteacherly things. But when you get, like, that confirmation in the episode that he actually has the ability to expel but then re-enroll, all within the same sentence if he wants to, and it's a way to kind of, like, show that we don't want these heroes to think that they can sacrifice themselves for the greater good. We want these heroes to solve the issue, but then come back home because he takes influence from his friend who ended up dying for basically being a hero, and he wants that not to be a student. So you get to have that more emotional connection, and to see a situation where this is a make it or break it for an anime studio. They're going to be sitting in a blank room. There's a wall separating these three, and we're just going to have that. You have to have good directing to make it work, and the back and forth, I think they did an amazing job on the facial animation. The eyes and how they'd either subtly shift to then just completely freak out. I mean, you have the obvious emotional high points with, you know, him crying, breaking down, the visible fear on DJ, to then just, like, the way the almost misty aura around this character would, like, slightly snap to then completely almost feel like it's a Venom suit, right? You know, the symbiote suit from Spider-Man, as if it's trying to be pulled away from his face, and you can kind of see it, as then it snaps right back in stronger than ever. I think they did a fantastic job with the directing here, and I felt more connection to Eraserhead this episode than ever before, and I really enjoyed his character for quite a few seasons now. I think he's definitely been more of a surprise character for me if I compare my thought when I watched him in Season 1. I thought he was a badass, but there wasn't anything there to make me say, wow, what a relatable person, right? And even though I don't think many people are going to come up and watch this episode and say, yeah, I relate to Eraserhead because my friend too was turned into a monster. No. But there's at least a humanity aspect there that you can say, you can understand his feelings. You understand so much more about his teacher personality now, considering where he used to be when he was young, seeing what happened to his friend, and wanting to warp the students into being people who survive their missions, but still get the job done. I mean, it's very interesting, and it just paints, I think, his arc in such a different light, and I think it would be so fun to rewatch. I mean, there's numerous reasons why you'd want to rewatch My Hero Academia all the way from Season 1 all the way up to here. But I think characters like his, learning something like this really shapes my perception all the more, and I think will explain so much more of those smaller moments I might have missed out on and just completely forgot because it's been multiple years since I've seen certain arcs. I think it'd be pretty fantastic, but honestly, I thought they were going to get through. I mean, for a while, I thought it wasn't going to happen this episode. Maybe it would come in a future arc. But when it really started to snap and he started to, like, just break down, he was crying, he was freaking out. And when you see him, like, actually, like, pull away a bit and he says hospital, it's like, okay, well, we're clearly not going to drop all the information. But if he's able to say the word hospital, maybe there's enough of a way to, like, get some good information, a jump on the enemy before shit hits the fan, and unfortunately it didn't. But, I mean, given the fact that that's the most progress they had, I do like that there isn't, like, this hostility that, oh, we're gonna go to his family now, because that was what's gonna happen. If they didn't get any progress, they were going to go to this dude's family, which is the last thing any friend of, you know, someone would want to do. Put their family through the torture of saying, hey, your son, your child's body parts are now this Nomu. Can you try to break him free? So I'm glad that there was enough progress and they were proud of that progress to seemingly not want to go that route. And the preview definitely looks pretty damn interesting, I have to say, seemingly going back in time a couple of months, explaining what went down as we build up to whatever craziness is going to be Season 6, which I've heard nothing but good things about the tone of the arcs that come after My Villain Academia. And I have to say, just seeing Shigaraki and just it almost felt like a torture scene, but almost like a manipulation scene to make him more powerful, and seeing the, like, evil doctor laugh as you see him, like, visibly in pain, but probably getting stronger. You can definitely tell the tone of My Hero Academia is about to change. I mean, when you look at Endeavor's agency arc and kind of like the emotional finisher there, to then having an episode like this, seeing more about the Nomu and just side characters that maybe you thought wouldn't have a backstory like this, but did, to then building up to that My Villain Academia that everyone's been hyping up. I mean, this tone is definitely shifting around, and I think the first couple of minutes when you have just certain characters being those cute kids doing their cute things, you can tell that's not going to last anymore, and it feels like death is on the horizon. And even if stuff like death doesn't happen, as we see, there's far worse fates than death. And I mean, we just witnessed it, and it'll be interesting to see. I mean, this shit's crazy. The directing in this episode was completely on point. I mean, some people might argue these types of episodes are boring because, you know, we're sitting in a room. I mean, to me, watching characters visibly break down as if they're real people and they're interacting with people they thought were dead and now are turned into monsters, trying to rip that humanity out to get those answers. You know you can't bring them back, but maybe you can get the answers on how it happened, why it happened to him, and you feel like you didn't get anything worthwhile except maybe a confession before him going back to who he was. This is why I love My Hero Academia. The longer you watch, the more you appreciate, and it really does feel like, I mean, most people get at least a single chance to shine, and even badasses who don't need it, like Eraserhead, get these emotional high points that really just stun and blow me away. Let me know what everyone's feeling on this week's episode, because this one definitely caught me off guard quite a bit in the best possible way, but let me know what you're feeling down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe if you're new around here. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.